Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I would like to thank Lieutenant General Zahirul Islam, General Khalid Jafri, with whom I have worked very, very closely in various capacities, starting from my career when I was posted in India as the Deputy High Commissioner and later on as Charge d'Affaires Affairs, before being expelled from India. And then had the great honor and pleasure of working with Khalid Jafri when he was with the ISI and I was in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Certainly, this is a very, very important area of our discussion. And I am extremely delighted that I have been invited to share my perspective on what interests Pakistan has, what kind of role Pakistan has been playing, and what are the areas of cooperation that we can enter into at a later stage. Having served as Foreign Secretary for a little over 2 years and having interacted with a lot of my colleagues from the SCO countries, from China, from Russia, from Kazakhstan, and other SCO countries, I have absolutely no doubt that this is an extremely important organization, and certainly the way it is progressing, it is going to emerge as a homogeneous bloc. We are also extremely grateful to the SCO member countries for co-opting us as full member of the SCO last year, and I think I have absolutely no doubt that the kind of the profile Pakistan has, it would be mutually beneficial for Pakistan as well as for the SCO member countries. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to share that Pakistan's membership to SCO is motivated by our desire to establish a peace and stability in the region. And this is something that we have worked very, very closely with other SCO member countries for the last several years, whether it is our all-weather friend China or Russia, with whom we are developing very, very close relations, or other Central Asian republics. And this is the kind of role that we would like to play. We are fortunately situated in a very important region whereby we connect not only South, West, and Central Asian republics, but we also offer the shortest route to mostly landlocked countries of Central Asian republics, to the Arabian Sea, to to the Gulf and other important countries. When I say that our main objective is to contribute to peace and stability, this is the role that we have played ever since Pakistan came into existence. And most of you who are familiar with the kind of role that Pakistan plays, for instance, in the 70s, we have very close relationship with the United States of America, and we also have had very close relationship with the People's Republic of China. And in the 70s, if you recall, that we played that role in bringing about a rapprochement between the United States of America and China. And Henry Kissinger, the former Secretary of State, in his book on China, has devoted full one chapter lauding the role that Pakistan has played in ironing out differences between the United States of America and China. And to be very honest, we did that in the belief that a good relation, a peaceful relationship between important power centers, the United States of America and China, is something which is of critical importance to peace and stability in the region. And then I would also like to remind that after Iran and the United States of America, their relationship was severed following the hostage crisis in late 70s, early 80s. At that time, again, we played an important role, and I'm sure that most of you would be aware that Pakistan, since that time, has been playing the role of a bridge between Pakistan and Iran. And this is something that we feel very proud of, because when you look after the affairs of another important country like Iran, which is our neighbor with whom we share about 1,000 kilometers long border, this should be a matter of great pride for us, because it also requires a degree of trust that Pakistan enjoys with both Iran and the United States of America. Recently, when I was in the U.S. as ambassador of Pakistan, the Iranian would also refer to me as their ambassador in Washington, because this is something that's the kind of a role that Pakistan has been playing. When I mentioned that we have been playing the role of a bridge, we would like to play the role of a peace bridge between the SCO countries, other countries of the region. We are glad that both Pakistan and India, with whom we have had a history of tension since 1947, we were both co-opted as members of permanent members of SCO last year. And I think the kind of interaction that takes place in the SCO in the shape of frequent meetings at the head of state level, at the level of the foreign ministers, at the level of their trade ministers, other people, experts dealing with issues like terrorism, that will also at some stage we will be, although the dialogue process is suspended between our two countries, but it is hoped that under the auspices of this important organization, some interaction would certainly take place between Pakistan and India. And this also, by the way, I am responding to a question that was raised by Jalil Mustafa during after the first session, because Pakistan would like to resolve all outstanding disputes with India. There is absolutely no doubt about it. This is something that we have always desired. This is what we have always strived for, because we feel that once we have been able to resolve our disputes and differences with India, including the issue of Jammu and Kashmir, whether it's Siachen, whether it's the water issues, whether it's issues related to terrorism, this SCO certainly will become a more vibrant organization. And similarly, again, one more important area that I would like to discuss, that second objective, apart from peace and stability, our objective was to become a hub of economic activity as far as SCO, this important region, is concerned. As I mentioned, that we are at the cross section of three very, very important regions, and we would like to play this important role for regional integration. For economic coordination and cooperation between Pakistan and the other regional countries. The BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, announced by China, which is a flagship initiative by the Chinese leadership, of which Pakistan is a critical partner. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is the main artery of that initiative. These are the kind of initiatives which would not only bring about economic integration between the SCO countries, but also it would bring about economic prosperity for the countries of the region. So this is again something which is of paramount importance for all of us. Another motivation for us was to promote cooperation between the SCO member countries to address challenges associated with climate change. Climate change, natural disasters, is something which afflicts all the SCO countries, and the kind of resources, the kind of expertise that we have developed, we will be able to pool in our resources, we would share our best practices and address this important area. Ladies and gentlemen, terrorism is yet another phenomena which afflicts almost every member of SCO. For Pakistan, for the last at least couple of decades, have been fighting the forces of extremism and terrorism. And I would claim emphatically that Pakistan is the only country in the recent history which has decisively defeated the forces of extremism and terrorism. The efforts, I remember that 2006, 2007, they were hard years for Pakistan, and generally the perception about Pakistan was that Pakistan is a failing state. The economy had gone down because of the incidents of terrorism and the instability in Afghanistan. But that situation has completely transformed. The terrorism is down by almost 80 to 90%. Our brave soldiers, the forces of extremism and terrorism. And today, by the grace of God, we have been able to eliminate this phenomena to a large extent. But this fight is not over. We will continue to render these sacrifices till such time we are able to defeat these forces once and for all and make the entire region. Why I brought in this terrorism phenomena? Because Pakistan, as the frontline state against this international terrorism, had developed a certain expertise over the last several years, and this is something that Pakistan would be happy to share with other SCO member countries in order to devise a joint strategy against these forces. Another area of cooperation is certainly the Chinese ambassador in his presentation, and as well as they highlighted the kind of things which could be done. I would personally feel that there are many other areas of cooperation whereby Pakistan could extend its assistance. I mentioned about the about the kind of good, the proper manner in which we fought the forces of extremism and terrorism, we have developed a certain expertise. This is something that we could share with the SCO member countries. We feel that this revival of Afghanistan group, SCO Afghanistan group, contact group, is certainly a very important development. Situation in Afghanistan is something which is of concern to all of us, all SCO members. Pakistan certainly would like to play an active role in this contact group by way of making a contribution towards peace and stability. Again, this is an area in which we have had many discussions with our Chinese, with our Russian, with our other Central Asian republics colleagues, diplomatic colleagues, and I think there is a desire to develop a joint strategy on the part of all of us to fix the situation in Afghanistan, but by defeating the forces of extremism and terrorism. It's not only extremism and terrorism which emanates from Afghanistan. It has also become the epicenter of drug production, for instance. It has also become a kind of a base for a lot of these extremist organizations. And by developing a joint strategy against these issues, we certainly can make this region a peaceful place. Talking about the drugs issue, I remember that when I was Foreign Secretary, we developed an extremely important mechanism involving Pakistan, China, Afghanistan, Russia, other Central Asian republics, and a hugely successful endeavor. It was initiated by Pakistan because the idea was to bring an end to this problem. As you're aware that the drug production, these drug traffickers, whether these are the extremist organizations or other people associated, they somehow develop a nexus. And in order to break that nexus, what we had done was that we had developed a mechanism whereby all these countries, which were the transit countries, they were connected with one another, and in the process we were able to discourage this phenomena to a large extent. One point that I would like to mention is that while SCO certainly is emerging as an extremely important bloc with multifarious areas of cooperation, I would like to emphatically make it clear that our alignment and association with the SCO, or for that matter, what we have been able to gather from all our other members from SCO country, it's certainly not a bloc against any other bloc. The idea basically is to forge a cooperative relationship. Idea is to forge a common response to the kind of challenges that we are faced in the SCO regions. And Pakistan certainly would like to play, as I mentioned, the role of a peace bridge between the SCO countries. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by saying that SCO certainly offers a tremendous opportunity to build a peaceful, progressive, inclusive, and sustainable world. This can be achieved by harnessing SCO's enormous potentials and proven competencies, as well as by leveraging the strong political will of nations represented in SCO. Pakistan certainly stands ready to contribute to this collective endeavor. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.